Great. Guys, I'm going to spend no more than 10 minutes running through a few of the new features that we've released. And features are always exciting, but I want to make sure that it comes across sort of the why we built them and how this can be helpful or useful for your customers and some of the projects and some of the solutions that they're trying to deliver. So let me pull up my screen really quick here. And Rick, when I'm sharing, can you let me know you can see it?
We're good. I can see it.
All right. So I'm starting here on the home page, and really there's two things that I want to share with you guys that has been really exciting to see the development of, as well as our customers start to adopt these new features. One is going to be around this new concept called custom images. Some of you maybe we've talked about either on calls that we've had together, or perhaps some of your customers or clients have asked about this. We'll dive into what a custom image is and why it's important. But I'm really excited about this new capability. And then the next thing that we'll talk about and touch on is what's called code snippets. And this is a way to add reproducible code, functions, any sort of code to generate charts or visualizations, things that maybe you can't remember how to do, or you always are constantly referencing or looking up. That's what we'll cover as a code snippet. So if I just dive in here to this partner office hours notebook, I actually just created this, and I don't have any meaningful code in here, just one markdown cell. And kind of, if I were to start developing on top of Zepl, the first thing that I'm going to want to do is bring together all of the libraries that I might need to include. So that might be things like, if I was using Python, I might need to include things like pandas as a library. So in order to do that, I have to write pip install pandas, or maybe there's another library called Seaborn for different visualizations. Right, just as an example, this is the traditional way that you would load Python libraries. If we were using R, we might do something like this and type in, let me look this up because I always forget this. Here would be a good code snippet. Type in something like this, install packages, and then the caret library or any other library, right? So this is a really nice process to be able to have the flexibility for inside of Zepl. When you spin up a container, you can always add any libraries that you might need on the fly. Now, our customers came to us and said, this is great, this is very extensible, but we need a way to be able to do this one time, manage it in one central place. And if we need to make any edits, the edits apply across all of the images or all of the notebooks and code that are using that image or using these libraries, sorry. And so what we came up with was this concept of custom images to say, to bring all of these libraries together, package them up one time, and then inside of your notebook, be able to select a specific image that maybe you built out previously, that without touching any code, you get access to all of the libraries that are packaged up for this specific image. So you can see here, I've got a few examples of things that this might be relevant for. So if your customers are working on specific models or specific types of projects, here's an interesting example of a computer vision project, which requires a handful, maybe 10 different libraries that are not really commonly used except for in computer vision or image processing use cases. That's a perfect use case in order to create an image where you have all of the packages required for computer vision, and then without changing any code, you just get to select this custom image here and apply that. So now when we go and run this notebook, I'll actually show you behind the scenes what happened there. But when we go and run this notebook, we've got all of those libraries exposed. And so to close the gap on, how do we create these and where do they exist? Here's an entire list of all the custom images for this organization that we have. You can see it's quite lengthy, but you have to be an admin in order to create them. And just to give you a little flavor, here are all the libraries specific to this computer vision package or custom image that I'm building. Specifically for Python, if we had R libraries, we could add those. You can also build system dependencies. So if there are specific command line tools that you like to use, like Git, or in this case, we have different compilers built in. So there's a lot that you can do with these custom images that go beyond writing code in order to bring together different libraries. Okay, and the final thing that I'll share with you on this is in creating images, you have this flexibility to choose different languages, different versions, and be sure that you can include all of these into one bundle or one image. And again, when you run this or when you build this, it happens one time and you don't have to change any code in order to attach those libraries. Okay, so that's custom images, kind of why we built them, all centered around this need to be able to bring together a lot of different libraries into one centralized place and attach them across any notebook really seamlessly and easily. Okay. Now, the second feature is a bit more of a developer tool, less than an administrative tool, and this is called code snippets. And code snippets, I think, are a really great application for things like what I did today on our call, which was, what is the right command? I'm not a very experienced R user. So what is the right command for actually installing a package? Perhaps I want to have a number of different packages, or there's a specific R command in order to do things like display the dimensions of a data set, right? These are all things that you would do commonly if you were an R user, but for new users, you might not be as experienced with those. So we built out this concept called code snippets, where you can create a new one directly from a given paragraph. If this paragraph had run previously, I would have an extra column here for the output of that paragraph. And then we can create these to say, R, this would be my R example for including packages, right? And when we create this, that will show up here inside of any notebook. You can access these different code snippets, and here's the code example that I just produced, right? So we want to make things in Zepl. The origins of this is that we want to make things extremely simple and streamlined for any users to get in, start running code, connect to data, and have meaningful visualizations with the capability of building models on top of those really easily and quickly. And we feel like this code snippets is a really great feature in order to continue to push that forward. Lastly, I've got a few that I think are really important or valuable to share around different data sources. So maybe you were connecting, let's say, a lot of our partners and customers use Snowflake. Maybe you wanted to look up how to do this using Scala. What is the best practices for creating a specific type of connection? Or in my organization, what is each data set used for? Well, this is a great way in order to just drop code directly into your notebook from our code snippets, whether it's around accessing data or maybe providing pre-built functions. All of these things can be dropped directly into the notebook for anyone to consume and start to use. Okay. So those are the two main features, and I actually did keep things between 10 minutes here. Those are the two main features that I wanted to cover with you all today that I think are extremely valuable for the end user on top of Zepl. So being able to bring all of the libraries that you need and only have to compile them one time, and then apply that across all of your notebooks without changing any code. And then having the ability to create reusable code samples that can be dropped directly into your notebook is extremely valuable, especially for very repeatable functions that we commonly see being created time and time again inside of Zepl. Since I have maybe 1 minute left, it was one Easter egg that I wanted to touch on, and that I'm going to share with you guys today. I'm kind of going off script here, so Rick, give me a second. One Easter egg that I wanted to call out is with inside of the usage page. What we implemented was a way to see. So I haven't run any code in the past several days inside of this organization. But I want to draw your attention up here to the top right. So we have this way to download customer or user container usage. And the really nice thing about this is it's something subtle that we implemented, but as you start to have larger organizations adopt Zepl, they might want to start doing things like chargeback and really getting a better grasp on who's using what as terms of container consumption. Well, now you can download this report offline and start to do your own analysis. So that can start to help ease some of those conversations around credit usage as you start to expand Zepl usage. So I'll pause there. If there's any questions, I don't know if we're doing questions now or maybe at the end, but hopefully that was useful for you and you guys learned something new that you didn't otherwise know before I started. So thank you. And
Thanks, Zach.